When did you know that you had become this guy? Was there a moment? Or did
I
it
would
take
say
winning a belt?
Yeah, I think right before winning the belt,
Okay.
I think I realized like, okay,
I'm a big
because
deal
because when I got into the sport, I'm gonna be champion. You know, everyone says this, but you don't really know how you're gonna do it. You don't know if it's gonna ever happen. You just say it, but you say it enough, and you start to put the applied work to it.
now. Yeah.
It might happen.
I watch you guys a lot, and it's very common with combat sports where you guys talk a lot of smack. There's a lot of just bragging, and just like tough talk and all of that. How much of that is done with you guys believing what you're saying? How much of that is for the show? Because I'm listening to you. You seem like a very nice guy.
I am.
You seem like a cool guy who just wants to hang out and just have fun,
Yeah.
and not disturb anybody. But at the same time, you are in this career where you are competing and you have to do a lot of that, do you know who I am? Sort of talk, how much of that is you and how much of that is, what I need to do this just to scare this guy a little bit.
Some guys, a lot of them are like that. They feel they have to put on that show because, it's kind of like, there's certain animals that do something to scare other animals off. Like, what is it? The peacock, when it gets upset, it wants to scare you. All the feathers come out and it turns big. Yeah. But it's still a little peacock. And so I think that humans do that as well. And we know it, growing up in school, the guy the bully that really could not fight, but he was the loudest.
He's really the most insecure guy.
Insecure guy. He's loud and he's making a lot of noise because he wants to scare you to not actually challenge him to a fight. And a lot of guys do that. Yes, in my profession, we're all trained fighters, but a lot of guys do that. I'm not that type of fighter. I'm the kind of guy who, I'm cool. I don't necessarily, like I said, I don't really like this.
That is so. You can't keep saying that, man.
What I like is tying into what you're asking. What I like is shutting the guys up.
Yeah.
That feel that, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. What I like that.
So do you feel bad when you fight?
No.
Because if you don't like fighting, then you fight people. There's blood. There's injuries. Sometimes people have to go to hospital. Do you feel bad, or do you just go, well?
After.
No, not during.
At my level, there's a certain zone that you go into, and this is very, very rare. And this is why, when I say it's a switch, it's a switch from that level back to reality of who you are. And like now, I'm Kamaru Usman. That's who I am now. I'm a cool guy. But let's say something happens right now. There's a big fight here that you can't control. You're just thrusted. You're thrown into this fight. Your heart just jumps out of your chest and it's abnormal. You can't think. You don't know what's happening. That's a zone that I'm comfortable in now. Most people aren't. They just do it. But I'm comfortable in that zone now because I've trained my mind, my body, my spirit to be comfortable there. That's like if you see a street fight now, two guys, for them, they feel like they're going to, I have to kill this guy, To me, it might be like watching slow motion. It might be guys doing certain things because I'm comfortable in that zone. But that's the zone where I have no regards for what's going on. Like, there's blood. There's plenty of times I've had blood in my eyes. When you have blood in your eyes, you realize that it's different. Blood burns in your eyes. It's like throwing salt in your eyes.
And you're fighting with that.
Fighting with it. But there's that zone where I'm in. I don't care. I have to win this competition. And that's the zone that Nigerian Nightmare lives. and then I can turn it off and be Kamaru Usman.
What you tell yourself before a fight?
Depends on which fight. But now I'm just in a position to where I know who I am. I know my abilities. I know what I can do and what I can't do. And I'm very confident.
This is also fascinating to me, man, to hear that you are this guy who doesn't like fighting but fights for a living. Do you ever see fights? Have you ever been in a situation where this is not MMA now?
Yeah.
Club, outside, party, the streets, where fight has had to come up?
No.
Or almost came up?
Almost. There's been a couple of situations.
And they know that it's this guy?
No.
Okay, they don't know.
No. Because it's been one that, temper is kind of flared. But I'm the cool guy. I'm the guy who smooths everything out. Guys, stop. Guys, you don't need to fight. It takes a lot to get me to the level of where I actually do want to fight. But I also understand the responsibility that I have with my acquired skills. I've trained very, very hard to develop and hone these skills to where I'm not just in the streets beating up everybody. I know that it's a responsibility, especially as a martial artist, it's a responsibility to, I guess, do good with the skills that I have. So, no, I'm not.
So you try not to get into those situations.
Yeah, and plus, I'm a different guy. I have a different vibe and different energy to where I don't think I attract. Certain people attract a certain situation. You walk in somewhere and you see the guy with the shoulders up walking through, a scowl on his face. And
bring your shoulder down.
Yeah, I beg now. Bring that down. He's looking for that. I'm the guy who wants to be in the corner. I don't look for that situation.
When was the last time you fought someone you really liked?
Like that I really liked, like MMA.
Yeah.
That I liked.
Nobody.
I like not this.
Or someone
fight.
you liked. Or someone
Yeah, not
cool
this
with.
fight. Yeah, not this fight. The fight before this was a teammate of mine. We trained together for a lot of years. So I played with his kids.
Who was
I
that?
raised his kids. Gilbert Burns.
Okay.
I had the Brazilian. I have raised his kids. I even flew to Brazil to help him, corner him for fights, prepare for fights. So yeah, I liked him for a long time. Yeah.
So when you knew you were
now
going to fight him,
I'm okay with him, but it's I'm the champion, and this guy said, I want your belt. I want to stop you from being the champion. I want to change the structure of your daughter's, future. Yes, so that
I'll come off for your
yes, I don't take that lightly, So then you become, for someone you like, to now it's personal because you know how hard I worked for this, and now you want to take it from me, So that's kind of how. But approaching a fight is very, very difficult.
So is that twice as hard for someone like you who doesn't like fighting, and now not only do you not like fighting, you're now having to fight someone you're cool with?
Yes, but
is it harder to psych yourself up?
A little bit, but remember, I said I'm for the competition. I like that, and for someone, think about it. You love competition, and then for someone that that knows you to want to compete with you,
Man, come on,
I'm gonna show this guy Pepe.
Cool enough. You also fight a lot of people you don't like.
Yes.
Does that work differently?
No, same. I channel them the same way. It's different, but I channel them the same way. I'm the type of person who will find motivation where there's no motivation.
Yeah.
I can find it. If you said something to your grandmother, who said it to her sister, who said it to her brother about me, and I find out, that's motivation I'm going to use against you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I find motivation where there's no motivation, and I think that's where I excel.
You've had a few fights in the last year plus, with people who were very cozy with the ex-president of the United States, and, wear the MAGA hat, which is okay.
Yeah.
But, did you ever feel like race came into the picture? How often does that come into play for you? With comments, with fans, or just supporters of the sport?
Yeah, with comments.
Because we did see recently, sorry to got you in there, with Israel, he had a fight recently, and he put up a post about, someone calling him the N-word, and all of that, and it was How often do you get that when you're preparing for a fight with someone who is seen as different from you?
Yeah, I get it pretty often. You know, it's something that you see, but that just goes to show you that you're excelling. Because if you weren't doing anything, no one cared, then no one would care to comment or say anything about it. So, yeah, I get it. I get it quite a bit. I've got it a little bit from, from the, opponents or something like
From
that.
the opponents directly?
I've felt. You feel
Okay.
the energy. You know, it's a different type of energy. You
Yeah.
feel it. I felt it.
Condescending.
But, yeah, condescending and say certain things. But, I kind of like to compete now. I like to shut them all up. And so, and there's no better way than to get in there and actually physically shut them up.
Yeah. Has anyone ever
deal with
said
it.
anything to you in the cage?
In the cage? No,
That's-
not in that situation. If I'm here, I'm in the front. Most people, they talk behind, especially now, behind the computer and type, because they're, they know they can hide. But not physically when we're face to face. They're busy worrying about what I'm giving them right there before they can say anything.
Does that spur you on, though, when you see all of those pictures where, it's, with a red hat, or with people saying things, and, when the opponent's supporters are obviously different
Yeah, no,
from
for
you?
me,
Does it make you...
For me, no. Okay, that one might have been a little extra. It was a little extra. Being honest, that was a little extra. But for the most part, no. Because all through the training camp, when I signed to fight this guy, I signed the contract, all through the training camp, mentally, I'm preparing. And so by the time the fight comes, there's no difference. Whatever you do, you can do more, talk less, talk more. You're still going to get the same beating.
Yeah. What do you think of Colby Covington? What's your relationship with him?
I don't really have a relationship with him.
Why
Everyone
not?
tells me that he's cool, that he's a cool guy. But with me, no, I
Why
don't
is
have
that?
a relationship with him. I don't know. I think he's someone that sees me and sees what I represent, and he wishes that was him. And so, he's doing the best he can to potentially take it, but he can't because it's different levels.
Did you hear that? But there was an eye poke incident with him.
Yeah, I mean, and those happen.
Which you got a lot of flack for that, and still do.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It happens.
Was that intentional?
No, I don't think so. Because, like I said, if a fight broke out, it's very tough for people to control what's happening, and especially someone like me. I'm an alpha, and he wants to be an alpha. It's two alphas. It's very hard because if he's not an alpha and I'm an alpha, I can control what's going on. But we're both fighting for the position. We're jockeying but no one wants to give up, to give in, and these things happen. They happen, but it's how you deal with them and you move on. And I dealt with it, moved on by eventually breaking his face.
Broke his face.
Kindly, respectfully.
Would you fight him again?
For the right price, yes.
What's the right price?
A few zeros.
Just a few, 2 zeros?
He
said a few.
A few zeros. A few zeros behind that number. I'll fight him again.
What fuels you more now? Because I'm talking about like a Colby now, who
Yes.
is someone you don't have a relationship with. There's a history between the both of you. Is it more the zeros or more the competition to say, you know what, I've done it again to you, so now shut up and go sit in the corner? What motivates you more in a time like that?
That's interesting because right now I find myself asking myself that question. For the first time I'm asking myself that question. I know I still have a burning will to compete. That's still there. That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But now I understand that the money is very important as well. And so that's of importance too. So they're about the same. And also, the future, my daughter's future, my family's security until they, so all of that is important to me now. So it's kind of balanced where initially it was just the pure competition. Then it became the money. Now it's they're balanced.
I like how honest you are about this money conversation. I like the fact that you're very honest about that. What was the first check you got that, you were like, woo?
I think one fight I fought and I had 75,000 for the win, and then I got a bonus on top of it. So I made $225,000 in one night. So it's like, wow.
That's heavy.
25 minutes. 25 minutes.
How many fights in was this?
Oh, this was a lot of fights in.
Okay.
A lot of fights in, but 225,000. And I remember thinking, wow, I can do a lot with this. But there's that thing called ambition inside me. It's like, The next week I was like, that was a lot, but
now I can get more.
I need more. To where now I understand it.
Are you doing 6 figures now?
Oh, I've been doing 6 figures. Been doing 6 figures.
7 figures, maybe?
Been doing 7 figures.
Oh, my God. My Nigerian brother is doing You're doing all right.
Yeah, you do all right, but you also got to understand the higher up you go, the more things change, the more responsibilities change.
Yeah.
So when you were doing 4 figures, you weren't trying to buy a house. You weren't buying houses and this and that. So when you start doing big figures, you got to do big things. And so it balances out.
Yeah.
Like Biggie's song said, the more money, more problems. That's very, very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. So something that's come up a lot, with conversations I've seen you have, interviews, and just your personal life, is how your father also wasn't there again, when all of these great things were happening with your life, with him going to jail, and all you had to do to tweak basically how you showed yourself to the world so that he could still be a part of your life. Tell us about that. I know he went to jail for things around, fraud or something. I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But tell us about that and what it did to you.
It was, obviously the first I knew I was going into the sport, and the sport had a TV deal. Yeah. They just signed a big deal with Fox. So I knew the sport, and I knew what channel the sport was on, that they actually televised. It's big now. So you go visit my father, and, in the visiting room, this is, right away in the visiting room, I noticed there's TVs everywhere. Okay, there's TVs. So I asked him, can you guys watch these TVs? Yeah, we watch these all the time. Okay. I'm looking, there's a channel, and I noticed right away there's that channel is there. So, okay, cool. Finished the visit, and I left, and I went back to training. Then, now, because I already knew these, but I wasn't at that level yet. I wasn't in the UFC yet. So, here comes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in. Going to the 4th, now I get signed to the UFC. And I got into the UFC through the show, which gave me a little bit more leverage because now I had an audience before starting my career in the UFC. And so now I had a little bit of a leverage as far as picking, okay, I want to fight on that. But they can still say no because I'm not a big star. I'm not, or anything. So they don't have to know why, so they offer a fight. Okay, I'm like, yes, I'll fight. What channel is that? Would that be televised on this? Like, yes. I'm like, okay, I'll take that fight. Even sometimes, okay, maybe be on pay-per-view. So what most people are screaming, I want to be on pay-per-view. I want to be seen on pay-per-view. I didn't really care.
Just wanted your dad to watch.
I just wanted him to watch it because.
And he always watched.
Yes. Oh yeah. He said they had big parties in there for him. It gives him a bit of an edge because now he becomes the man instead of just a regular, one of the citizens. Now he might be the unofficial mayor of that place, So anything that I could do to give him that sense of pride at that time, I was going to do.
And you did that for how long?
I got in 2015, so all through 2015 that's year, 2015, 16, 17, 8. I didn't fight on pay-per-view to 2019.
Wow.
Yeah. Almost 4.5 years.
That was a lot of revenue.
Yeah. Yeah, but at that time I wasn't in that position. So fighting on pay-per-view, you really want to fight on pay-per-view when you're the champion because now you get a cut of pay-per-view. And so as the champion, now I get a cut of pay-per-view. So, Dad, you can afford to buy this pay-per-view.
You've got a record almost saying that, you didn't think your dad got a fair judgment or a fair rap. Why is that?
I mean, it's...
And what exactly happened?
It's, it's life, You can't explain certain things in life. You can't explain why this happens to this person and that person and why it doesn't happen to this person and that person. It's just the way the system is set up. And, the system can be designed for, especially kind of the American system is, okay, we want more. Okay, we got someone, you did something wrong, we have you, but give us something, help us with this or say this and that. And it's just the way the politics of the system and how they play it, to where he was kind of roped into it, to where he could have, I didn't do anything wrong, but, well, these guys are roping you into it, to where now it gets to a point where, how do I defend myself here? Because these
just to
guys
be clear,
are roping me into it.
So there were other guys who sort of cut a deal, and he was the fall guy, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And, you couldn't really explain how these things happen. I'm sure if I asked him, he can explain how these things happen. But, it's life. And you think about what happened. Of course, you don't want that time for it to happen. But had that not happened, would he have been so against me fighting that it caused me problems and heartache and a headache to where I eventually say, okay, fine, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to quit. Could that happen and cause my brother to say, I don't want to go to pharmacy school and become a pharmacist? You never know how these things turn out. That's why I never really look at situations, because everyone always asks, if you could go back, would you change this? No, because that in turn helped build us, help mold you, help get you to the point where you're at in life.
Do you think his race or heritage played a role in how his case was handled?
It could have. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past that, but it could have. But I'm not in that position. I'm not in that seat, in that position, so I couldn't really say. But there's a high probability that probably helped.
Did that affect you in any way? I mean, knowing you're in America, you're in a different space.
Yeah.
You hadn't seen your dad in a while. Now you're living together again. All of a sudden, this wedge is thrown again in the family spanner. And what did that do to you?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. My life is moving so fast right now that it's...
This was 2010, right?
2010, yeah.
So you were what?
I was...
14.
2010, so 20...
Oh, sorry. Actually, more than 14. Yeah.
It's like 20... I want to say...
23,
23? Yeah, 23. Somewhere around there. I don't know. I think eventually when I settle down from my career, from everything, I'll be able to just take the time to really indulge in it. And
were you angry at any point?
I think initially when it happened, of course you're angry. You want your dad to be there, But you learn quickly that that anger is not going to feed you next week. You could be angry all you want, but hasn't changed the situation.
How did the family take it besides you?
I mean, hard, but the same way. That's not going to feed you next week. You have to move on. It's life. And we moved on. But, of course, keeping him is still my dad. I grew up, did not seeing him physically, but feeling the presence, to where now it's the same thing. You don't see him physically every day, but you feel his presence.
And you're still really close.
Yeah.
With so much time apart.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes.
So he saw you for the first time this year, fight?
Yeah, he watched me fight live for the first time. And you can ask him that what that experience is like. You can ask anyone who sees it live what that experience is like.
Was that different for you? Because I know that, I don't do what you do, but I work in media and I've been at a few events where I've hosted. And I know the few times my parents have been in the audience, there's a certain level of nervousness I feel where I'm just like, okay, these guys are watching. I need to show them this thing I do. Let me even tell them that I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Did you feel, did the pressure feel different?
No, No, because I said, I function in a certain zone. When I'm in that zone, I'm away from everything, earthly things. I'm away from all of that. I'm in a zone that this is what I'm doing, and I have to focus on this. And that's where I thrive, is being in that zone. I don't see, I don't know, I don't feel. Like my daughter's there. I don't feel until after. You know, my father's there. I didn't feel it till after. So once I'm in that zone, all I have is this guy in front of me that's trying to take everything from me.
Yeah. Great. What's your relationship with Israel?
Good. Very good. You know, now I commend you guys here in Nigeria. I know what you guys have to go through now to watch us fight. 5, 6 a.m. Oh, my God.
Crazy.
Yes.
We're setting alarms.
Yes. Oh, my God. But you guys have the system now, you know. I had to do it for the first time, and I watched this fight here.
Yeah.
And, it's incredible. I mean, Israel is a different, you know.
This journey is completely different from yours.
Yeah, everybody asks me that all the time. Oh, how do you feel about Israel? I love it. I love it because we're like, you know, we're two different flavors. You know, we're like the 1-2 punch. You know, Israel is a completely different flavor, and I'm a completely different flavor. But we're so very Nigerian that I love it. I love it.
Did you see him coming?
Yes. I actually knew Israel before he got into the UFC.
Oh.
Yes, he was still fighting in a small kickboxing show in China. And the guy that actually got me into MMA, that superstar at the time, was doing an appearance in China at that kickboxing event. And FaceTimed me and said, hey, I got this other Nigerian guy here. His name is Israel. And put us on FaceTime years ago. And that was the first time I actually, you know, of course, any opportunity to speak pidgin, I'm like, my God.
Have fun.
Have fun. He's like, yes, I'm doing good. Yo, watch out for me. I'm coming. And that was the first time that I got to meet him. And then years later, he's kickboxing, fighting for the kickboxing championship. And years later, he gets signed into the UFC. And now,
completely different styles from you.
Yeah, now we're both champions.
Did you think he made a mistake going up a weight category?
No.
With this fight?
No, that was a good gamble. If you're gonna gamble, that's how you gamble. And that was a good gamble. I think a couple of minor adjustments. I believe he wins that
Would
belt.
you do that?
Would I do that? Yes. Yeah, of course. If Israel wasn't the middleweight champion above me, I would have fought for that belt already.
That's why I asked that. Would you fight Israel? That's what I want to know.
No, it's just something about me. It's a sense of pride that I have that I prefer two Nigerians to have a belt rather than one Nigerian with two belts. I like to share, especially with my countrymen. So, no, it's not me having two belts. Yeah, this is me. People know my name. People know his name too. You know, why do I want all of it by myself? I'm not that greedy or selfish. Two Nigerians with belts is definitely better than one Nigerian with belts.
With two belts?
Yes, with two belts. Yes.
Okay, let's leave the fighting up for a bit. Now, you talked about your daughter a lot.
Yes.
Does she know what you do?
Oh, yes.
What does she think?
Oh, she's known since she was 7 months old. She went to the gym with me every day. Oh, she's good now. But now she's starting
How old is she now?
She's about to be 7 next month. And now she's starting to vocalize her feelings, how she feels about it. So she's like, oh, I get nervous. Yeah, so she gets nervous, but she watches it. Yes.
She watches your fights?
Oh, yeah.
Are you cool with that?
Yes.
Why?
It was important for me to kind of bring her along the journey. So that's why I brought her to the gym every day since she was 7 months. So now she was used to it, and it's not foreign to her. So she understands it's work. That's what I said. I have that switch. You know, when I'm home, I'm Kamaru Usman. When I'm in, training and fighting, I'm the Nigerian Nightmare. So she understands that difference better than anyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's very interesting. Would you let her do it?
I couldn't stop her. I can't stop her. It's one of those
encourage
things. Eventually, yes, I would. I wouldn't encourage her to get into it. But if she says, I'm going to do this, of course, I would encourage her to be the best at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would try to encourage her to be the best at almost anything that she does. Almost anything.
Fair enough. So you went to college.
Yes.
Where all of this happened. What did you study? I just realized that.
I started with biology because I was going to go to be a doctor, medical doctor. But then I quickly realized, I don't like that. And then I switched to nursing. Then I realized I couldn't do that and still compete in athletics. And then ended up in family studies.
Okay.
Yes, which is why, you know, for some reason I like to hear people's problems, try to help them solve the problems.
So you're a fighter who cares about people. What are you doing? So what would you be doing if you weren't fighting?
Probably be a counselor, a marriage counselor.
Oh, really?
Yes. For some reason, people like to talk to me.
So your home is perfect.
And I could give, no, it's not perfect. No, don't mistake that. Don't mistake that. Even counselors have their problems. So, no, I just, I think I'm a good listener to people and helping them with problem solving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll be doing that. Would you still do that? 'Cause
Yeah.
you're going to leave this one day.
Well, depends. You know, now I might be businessman, you know, when I get out of this. So,
Coaching?
yeah, in some form, yes. Yes.
What do you think of the scene here in Nigeria? The combat sports.
The combat sports scene, it's still, you know, it's still not really as prevalent as it should be, you know, but that's hopefully going to change one day.
Because we have really great wrestlers,
Great
especially the
athletes.
women. The women are great wrestlers
Yeah.
here. You know, I
Yes.
don't know if you've met any of them. You know, I think a couple of them are qualified for the Olympics. As
Yeah,
well.
I know the coach.
Yeah.
You know, the coach was a great wrestler.
Yeah, Daniel Gali.
Daniel Ngali.
Yeah.
He wrestled in Canada. So he was a great wrestler. So, you know, of course, with just like that, with tutelage like that, when those people come back and give back, of course, it changes the narrative for the future.
You feel the need to do that? Give back here.
Yes, yes. Yes, I think eventually, and that's part of what myself and my team are working on. Eventually, we're going to be able to hopefully create those, you know, programs and organizations to where we can start to change and help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why did it take you this long to come back?
Man, it was just every time you plan something, you know, first of all, I couldn't come before with myself because, you know, your mom and dad have to, you know, sign off on it and all of that. And then every time you make plans, they change, you know, different things fall into place. We actually planned on coming last year. Then the pandemic
COVID
happened.
yeah.
We actually had flights for April,
Oh, wow.
middle of the pandemic. And so we had to cancel that. And this year, of course, I have a lot of things going on in the States. But I said, no, we have to make this happen. We have to go. So
Yeah.
we're here. Yeah,
Better late than never.
absolutely.
Interesting. I want to talk about away from combat sports and all of that, just pop culture and all of that. Because I saw you in pictures with Burna Boy and all of that. What sort of music do you listen to? Because I see your Insta story quite often. You are very, very heavy on Nigerian music.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the scene here?
I'm on everything. I listen to everything. But I think, the music, Afrobeat right now is probably the second biggest, you know, genre out there. And I love it. I love what these guys are doing. You know, it's also going to show how Nigerians can jump into something and really take over it. You know, even the acting scene here is humongous. And so I just love it, you know. I love how we excel in different fields.
What are you currently listening to?
Of course, Burna, of course, Wiz, of course, Techno, you know, Olamide, you know, had a crazy run, Timaya, you know, and just, you know, Don Jazzy. And these guys, these producers are helping to just build all these even young artists coming in, you know, are throwing out things that will catch my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you ever do entertainment?
Yes, definitely.
Is that a part of the plan? Like
Yes,
after
we're gonna
this?
right after when we get back, we're gonna be working on a movie.
Oh,
Yes.
that you're in or a movie about you?
No. It's a movie, not about me, but it's a movie.
So you're going to be in a movie?
Yes.
So that's sort of the transition.
Yes, transition. We're still doing both, but yeah, I will get there.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I'm actually impressed with that. So you're going to be acting?
Yes. I could be an actor.
Hollywood?
Yeah.
How many more years do you think you have with MMA?
I don't know. I try not to put a time on it. But the one thing is I'm very honest with myself and my abilities. And what happens is when people stay too long is they don't know their time to walk away. And I think I will know when I can't compete at that level that I want to anymore, that it's time to walk away.
You're not feeling it yet?
No, not yet.
What's your next fight?
I don't know yet. We're still deciding. It's contracts that need to be worked out. But once it's done, Trust me, the world will.
Who do you want to fight?
I don't know. I've already beat
Well,
all
of
those
course you do.
guys. I've already beat all those guys. That's the thing. I've beaten everyone in the top 5. So, someone have to show me something, and then we'll decide.
So does that, you get to a point where you're like, what's next? Where it's like, this isn't exciting anymore.
Not yet. When that happens, then it might be time to walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for having this great conversation with us. Really eye-opening. Looking forward to the movie. Is politics in your future?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, if you go to Edo State and they say, come and be our governor.
No, I don't trust you. I feel
That one's too hard.
problem.
What are your thoughts on politics here in Nigeria?
I don't know that much about it. But
Because you supported like the NSARS protests and all of that.
Yeah, I mean,
You're quite.
it's
you
just
understand what's happening.
Yeah, it's just that whole injustice in general. I'm not a fan of injustice, but I don't know that much about the politics here. But I'm wise enough to where of course your parents always tell you, if you don't know what's going on, keep your mouth closed. So I'm wise enough I need to understand something before you speak on it, because one thing that I don't like to do is have to apologize for something.
Or something you shouldn't have said.
You shouldn't have said. And so I try to take things in that stride.
Do you still feel Nigerian enough?
What?
Do you still feel Nigerian enough?
Oh yeah. I've been itching to blow pigeon everywhere.
So we should have done this in Fiji.
We should have done
if
this
I
in
talk
Pidgin.
quick now, we'll just talk and go.
I don't know how you want to do. You give me Yankee vibes, so that's why. No, but of course, I mean, it's just something that's just ingrained in me. It doesn't matter where I am,
Yeah.
And Nigerians, I don't know what it is. I don't know why.
When you see them,
everywhere in the world. I was in
running since
Glasgow, Scotland.
Cold as hell.
Yes. I saw guys like, brother, high five. What are you doing here? How did you get here? But it's just something about it. It's just an energy and a feeling that you get from being around other Nigerians.
Speaking of Nigeria, I mean, your name Nigerian Nightmare.
Yes.
There was a Nigerian who had that name before you.
Yes. Samuel Peter.
Yeah.
And Christian Okoye.
Yes. And I think one of them trademarked it or something. Why did you take the name? Why was that name important to you?
Well, we got to talk to them. I think I did hear. My lawyer did say something about that. But no, it's just a name that exemplifies excellence in athletics from Nigerians. And I remember hearing it, and I was like, wow, I love that name.
Yeah.
So when I got into a position to potentially do something special, that's the name that I wanted to bear. Because I think paying that name homage was very.
Why was it important to you? I mean, you left when you were 8. Yes. America sort of built this wrestling and combat sport life for you. Why was Nigeria still very important to you?
I have Nigerian parents. Your Nigerian parents will never let you forget you are Nigerian.
Auchi.
Exactly. Especially if they're talking and you're not listening. So you not be this American shit.
You must hear word.
You must hear word. And so, all through that, it's just ingrained in me. I had that sense of pride in my culture before I left, and it's carried over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever get scared of losing the belt?
It's not so much as losing the belt. The belt is just a material thing. It's a platform, and it's that you have, and you create stuff around it. It's falling from that position. Of course, it's tough, but I'm not too attached to it. As long as I'm doing things the right way, I'll be fine.
Awesome stuff. Yeah. Have you enjoyed Nigeria so far?
Yes, yes.
What's been the biggest surprise for you since leaving and coming back?
Man, I went on the boat ride today and looking at some of these real estate. It's. I'm like,
these houses are quite big.
These houses are nice, so I feel stay this one. This one's good small for me. I feel stay this one.
Yeah.
So that's been it. But I've had a great time. It's been great. I've been hosted well, and I look forward to the rest of my time here.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much for doing this with us, man.
Thank you.
It's good to know just a little more about you. And
thank you.
I'm sure we root for you every time.
I know.
We're right behind you. When you carry that flag, and you walk out. The screams, even if it's 4 or 5 a.m. here, we're like, yes, beat his face.
I see it, and after watching Israel, I understand.
You understand.
Yes, and I respect it. I respect it.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you
for all
guys.
you're doing, man. Thanks for being here.
My man, thank you.
Awesome.